Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, this is another Tell It Like It Is review for you. Today we're doing Ma, and this movie was very interesting. It was different, but not really. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you've seen this before. If you've ever been in that kind of situation that Octavia Spencer's character, Ma or Sue Ann, was in, like, you can understand where she came from. This is another one of those movies where they kind of like make you try and feel a certain kind of way about the antagonist of the movie. And honestly, I didn't. I thought they did a pretty good job of it. So for the most part, the synopsis is pretty simple. Uh, High school kids trying to get drunk, trying to get high, have nowhere to go because their normal spot that they would normally go to has gotten busted. They were hanging outside of liquor stores trying to get everybody that comes in, to buy them the liquor that's on their list, so they can, like, get drunk and party because there's nothing else to do out here. Understandable, I suppose.
So after a couple of them going back and forth trying to take turns and make this whole thing work and whatnot, and so many people tell them to piss off and everything like that and get out of here, and telling them no in the rudest ways possible. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was great, by the way. Uh, Octavia Spencer's character Sue Ann comes around, and at first she denies them. She's like, no. She's pretty much saying to, like, piss off and do something else with your life just like everybody else. And I can't remember exactly what kind of triggered her to be like, all right, but she definitely said okay. She went in there, she got them the stuff, and she was now the cool chick. So she invited them over to her place to, like, cash her out because they offered to pay her and everything and blah blah blah. She didn't want them drinking and driving because they had nowhere else to go after she kind of ratted them out. They don't know it, but we know it, of course. And now the little beach quarry wherever they were hanging out at, no longer a place where they can hang out and smoke and drink and stuff like that. So she sees an opportunity to give them the the platform to kind of go into her basement and chill and do those things.
Now, since everything is all good in the hood now, she fixes everything up. you know they rearrange the basement, this dirty, dusty, junky looking basement. That was determination right there. Got all that set up together for the perfect teen hangout spot, which is kind of strange for a whole grown adult woman to be doing. That should have been a red flag off top, but the black kid is the only one who had sense initially, and then of course, being the token, you just kind of follow through and be like, hey, well, I guess I'm gonna go with the crowd, I suppose. After having multiple parties, things just start getting a little weird. She starts getting a little bit more obsessive. She has their numbers. She's tracking them on Facebook, on Instagram, all their socials. She gets like one little hint of their name, and all of a sudden she can find them, which I thought was very peculiar. But apparently, this is a thing. Apparently, people do that. Go figure.
And now she's in full on stalker mode. Yikes.
As the story progresses and goes on further and more into it or everything, things get more hectic, things get more weird. She's Snapchatting them or videoing them, whatever the freak she's supposed to be doing. That was great video for her to just be doing on some social media website, but she's messaging them in like bulk, and it's getting weird. It's getting crazy. She's getting more and more creepy. She's getting a lot more clingy, and she does this like weird little quick side turn and step off thing where she just be jetting off on people, and it's like really uncomfortable if you're like really in that situation. It's one of those things where you'd be like, what?
So we find out a little bit more about her past as the story goes on. It shows little clips and flashbacks of her as a kid in high school going through some of those, like, teenage party trying to be cool type deals or whatever. And honestly, you kind of feel for her character a little bit because she was a nerd. She was definitely a nerd. Definitely not a cool kid. She wasn't an ugly kid, but she was definitely not a cool kid.
So with that being said, so she ends up getting pranked by all these stupid popular kids in traditional fashion, and it ends up being this 7 minutes in heaven type deal where you go in the closet and you're supposed to kiss the person that you're in the closet with or whatever, which was Luke Evans' character as a boy. And lo and behold, come to find out, them 7 minutes in heaven type deal, that was something completely different. I don't know if that was the game that they were playing, and they just winged it and just went off the cuff and just did something else. But yo, they took that mess a little bit further than expected. I didn't see that coming at all. But she basically was in the closet with this nigga and gave him head. One of the girls even decided to like, give her pointers and tips and like, all you gotta do is just put your mouth on it and blah 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 and all these other things. So she's in there, she does it, dude's done, she walks out, and then the dude that she was supposed to be doing that to, uh Luke Evans' character, was standing right over there, right outside the door, along with so many other people, so many other kids. It seemed like it was a lot of kids in the school that were just waiting for this to be a thing. It was a cruel, cruel prank. And now everything is coming full circle. She's getting her vengeance on everybody that did her dirty, did her wrong, and even more so, she's taking it out on the parents' kids and the parents because the one popular girl chick or whatever that talked him into drinking in the first place was talking too much. And with, as you can see behind me, there's different stages of what she did to each kid. Have you seen the trailer for it or whatever? You can. There's probably a scene in there. I know, because I've seen it already. I was like, oh, okay, I know what's about to happen here. But this chick over here, wait, where is she? This chick over here sews her mouth shut. The black guy over here, as far as his punishment or whatever goes, it wasn't that bad. She just put paint on his face for white face. I thought that was more funny than anything. And that's another thing about this movie. This movie has a lot of comedic moments in here. Like, it's hard to take this seriously as a thriller. There's like probably like two things that freaked me out, like as a jump scare type deal because I didn't see it coming. But other than that, this movie was more awkward, creepy, and funny than anything else. Like, don't mistake this movie for being like a thriller type movie. It's not. All in all, I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time with it, me personally. Would I buy it? Yeah, I guess. I just wouldn't buy it like the moment it comes out. Like if it was like in the $5 bin at Walmart or something like that, definitely would get it. But it's it's weird. I enjoyed the movie, but this movie was kind of trashy at the same time. Mostly, my main gripe is about how it ended. I enjoyed the ride. Okay, I'll say that. I enjoyed the ride of the film and where it took me, and where I kind of could just like lose myself in it. Like I didn't have too many moments where I could just like snap back out of it and be like, corny." Mostly because this movie was just corny. Period. So I didn't take because I didn't take this movie seriously like that. It made it easier for me to kind of just like take this movie for what it was. That being said, uh, as much as I enjoyed this film, my biggest gripe about it was the way it ended. She's in the basement with the kids. They're in trouble. Fire breaks out in the basement. They're all about to burn and die. Main girl's mom comes to save her, and they're all trying to get out, get to safety. Kid's been stabbed, burnt, mouth sewn together, freaking paint on the face. And she gets gutted because she's trying to like stop her daughter from leaving her. And oh, if I didn't mention that earlier, I don't remember if I did or not, but yes, she has a daughter. Somebody got her pregnant and she had a kid. Some will say that her daughter's role in this movie wasn't relevant. I feel like in some way, shape, or form it was because it just lets you know like I'm not my parent. Like I might be this person's offspring or whatever, but I'm not like her. I'm nothing like her. And I thought that was important because that's kind of where it was leading towards the end of the film anyway, as flat as it went.
So the main girl stabs her. Now she's supposed to like I assume she's supposed to be like somewhat dying or whatever because she got stabbed. She's supposed to kind of die from those kinds of things like that. And it was a deep stab. It was a pretty big knife. And she gets stabbed. They take Sue Ann or Ma's daughter and they get her up out of there. And now she's just in the house. She doesn't want to go out with them, so she's just gonna burn and die in the house. But the stairs were on fire. But she still walked up the stairs, and not only did she walk up the stairs, what got me is that she walked up the stairs like she never got stabbed. Like she had the whole switch and everything. Like you barely saw blood. It was crazy. It just that's the point where I got taken out of the movie. I was like, what?
So she goes upstairs, looks through the window, sees everybody like, getting to safety and, trying to treat the wounded and make sure everybody's okay for all the kids that got messed up and stuff like that. And she's just like, looking out the window all creepishly and stuff like that. And then she continues to go upstairs to her room where she killed her crush. And now this nigga is officially dead. How long he's been sitting in that room dead, don't know, but I'm pretty sure rigor mortis has set in by now. She sits there, she lays on him, all comfortable, cozy, cuddling and stuff like that, rubbing on him and stuff like that. I thought, honestly, that she was going to get on the bed and then suck his dead dick. She didn't. She just cuddled, and I thought that was... I didn't think about it. I don't have any thoughts on that. I just thought the whole thing was stupid. And then it fades out to black, and then the movie ends. Again. What?
Aggravation.
Needless to say, as fun as this movie got, it did not end well. And that's a big thing about movies and shows and things like that that's been a thing of late, is closing. Closing is important. If you don't have a good closer, then all this extra effort that you put into the storyline and the characters and development, if you even had such a thing, waste of time. Don't believe me? Game of Thrones. Anywho, all in all, I would give this movie a good 5 out of 10 for sure. It just because of the way it ended, just because of the way they closed everything, you get docked points.
Docked many points. You have to be able to close. Things like that can't stand. We're too far into this whole cinema industry type deal to where you gotta do better than that. You gotta close better than that. You have to. It's weird if you don't, and when you don't, it shows. And all those hours that you put into this movie that I spent watching this film, for you to end it in such a way, it was just kind of like, I feel like I wasted my time. And in some cases, I feel like I wasted my money and my time. But all that said, you should go see this movie
on a discount Tuesday. So, Ma, if you saw it, what did you think? If you haven't seen it, go see it, and then let me know what you think. Especially after hearing me say what I have to say. Like, let me know what your thoughts are on the film for you personally. Because maybe it's just me and maybe I'm tripping. I'm not. But maybe I am. Go figure. So, until then, you guys, you know how it goes. I'll be here telling it like it is. I'm just trying to pass